Hi, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Good day, wherever you're joining from. We're starting the Living with series today, and it's about sharing stories of people who have been diagnosed with one mental health disorder, so we can raise awareness for these things, right? We need to talk about these things all the time. We need to talk about it as much as we can so we can raise awareness. So the Living with series with Psych Bible Foundation is to promote awareness and also, help Nigerians understand that this is a problem of every single person. It is not something that affects only the rich, only the wealthy, the people out of the country and things like that. Yes, exactly. So, so we have Morenikeji today, and she'll be talking to us about generalized anxiety disorder, what it is to live with generalized anxiety disorder. So we'll just give a second for her to show up.
Hi
How are you doing?
everyone.
Hi. How are you? So I think we're good to go. So
Yeah.
I'll just go straight to it. Thank you so much for coming on this live. We really appreciate you sharing your story with us and being so open to it, helping us to create mental awareness in Nigeria. So I have a couple of questions here written for you. Can you tell us a little bit about your diagnosis?
So it's a very funny story actually. So um, I think what year was it? I think about 3 years or 4 years ago. So I had been feeling one type of way, and I just knew that I wasn't normal. I just knew I wasn't normal, and then the way in Nigerian house they're like, you have evil spirits. You have evil spirits. It's evil spirit that's worrying you. Maybe you're gonna take it to a celestial. Oh no, it's going to beat it up from your body. And then I always just felt like, oh, there was something different about me. And then one day I saw, I forgot the name of the girl actually. I saw her, post something um, about anxiety disorder. And then I was like, what's this one like? Is the person going to be? I honestly thought it was probably going to be like the person would be fainting every time they're anxious or something. I thought it was going to be something that dramatic. So I was just scrolling past it. I think it was on Instagram actually. And I think it was like a sponsored ad. So you know how we always scroll past
Yeah.
sponsored ads, and then I saw tick test, and then I was like, oh, like what test am I taking? And I do people are not okay. So then I took the test, and then I was like, okay. So then I saw, then she was like, oh, how do you feel? Like, how do you do you feel it? And I was like, how do you know? Like, bro, like what's going on? And then it just happened like that. Like it just kept happening like that. And then at the end, I think I reached out to her, and I think what happened is for everybody that takes the test, so like she would reach out to you and probably like have like a mini, I won't call it session, but then she tried to talk to you via Instagram. So then she did, and then she was like, I think you have this, I think you have that. And I felt really good because what I was feeling finally had a name. So I was like, yeah, by all means. But I started with all of my chest. I was like, since you already have this way that you already describe situations that are very close to my symptoms, I was very, very receptive of what she had to say.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So after you spoke with this lady, did you go to like a psychiatrist, a psychologist to get like proper diagnosis?
Yes, I actually spoke to someone else after some years. I spoke to like a proper psychiatrist. I had an episode, and then I just at that point I was tired of self therapy, so I had to reach out to another clinical psychiatrist, and then she spoke to me more about how I felt.
So you eventually still spoke to a therapist afterwards.
Yes, I did.
All right. So, but what was it like for you the day you got your diagnosis? What was it like for you? How did
I
you
thought
feel?
it was bliss. I wrote a book about it actually. It was bliss,
Yeah,
because
pretty good.
it was bliss because what I felt suddenly had a name. Like it was bliss because I used to feel I was crazy. I honestly used to feel like I was crazy. I would be in the midst of people, and I just literally would want to pass out. And then I would feel so anxious that I'm visibly shaking. And then people are like, what is wrong with this one? Like, is Barapa doing
Yeah.
your enemy? And then I'm like, I reject the name of Jesus. I would not convulse. But then it just felt so good. You know when it feels like you are, so it just makes you feel like, oh, maybe you are not so much of a dead person, or maybe you're not so much of a, maybe you're not so alone. Maybe actually, if someone else knows what is wrong with you, then since you're not alone, maybe you guys can find the solution. So I feel like that's how I felt,
There
and
was belief. Yeah.
that's what was really pleased.
Wow, that's interesting. That's good to know. Okay, so your family members, do they know about your diagnosis?
I no, they do not. No, they do not. Because first of all, my mother cannot follow me on Facebook and block her. And and also I'm not so vocal about it on Facebook because I'm not a big Facebook user.
I didn't catch that.
I said I'm not so vocal about it on Facebook, which is the only channel that you probably would know it via, or probably the only channel that you would hear about it from. Because I don't think I want to sit down with my Yoruba parents and tell them hello. They'll say, oh, what is this? They'll tell you the only people that I know that we know that have mental disorders, they are in Aru, they are in Yaba. So you get,
Yeah.
so I just wasn't ready.
We're currently talking about living with generalized anxiety disorder. And living with GAD is something that a lot of people experience right now. They just don't know that that's what they're going through. Okay, so while we're still waiting for her to come back, welcome you guys. So like I was saying, so the purpose of this program is to promote mental wellness, to promote mental health awareness generally to every single Nigerian. Being diagnosed with a mental disorder is not something far-fetched. It's not a white man disease. It can affect literally anybody whatsoever, whoever you are. It doesn't care if you're rich, if you're poor, if you live in the best house, if you live in the worst place. It does not care, right? You can experience one mental disorder, or one mental health issue or the other. So that is what the Living with series with Sandybrownx Foundation is about. So we welcome people to come and tell us about their experiences living with a diagnosed mental disorder. So if you or anybody you know want to share your story with us, please send us a DM, send us an email. Our handle is psychbabble, PSYCHEBABBLENG. That is our handle. So please send us a message, send us a DM. We would love to have you and help us spread the awareness. People need to know that these things are not far-fetched. Welcome back. So we
Hi.
try to keep this really short. So we'll just go straight to the other question. So we don't keep. I mean, let's respect people's time.
Um,
All right. So we've spoken about how you were diagnosed. We've spoken about your diagnosis. If you've spoken to your family members about it, a typical Nigerian reaction. All right. So, what are some challenges that you currently face being diagnosed with generalized anxiety?
um, so I think, uh, I don't know. There's so much that I don't have so much top of my head.
All right. Just give us like three.
Let me get out, try. So okay, so the first one is I would not say the stigma actively because I don't have shame. I do not have shame. The only thing I carry on my head is God. So I do not have shame. I really do not have shame. I believe that's not something that should be ashamed of. If God made me like this, then why am I ashamed of it? It's not a scar, it's not a sin, it's not something that I did to myself. So and neither is it within my power to control how I feel like this. So yeah, so I'm just trying to just live it.
Okay, so but basically, for instance, let's say at work or among your friends in social gatherings, like what are some challenges?
Yeah,
Has being diagnosed with anxiety ever cost you a job, for instance?
I,
Things like that.
okay, I was going to like get into it, but I just did that.
Oh,
I just.
okay.
Sorry, can you guys see me now? A notification came
Yes,
into my
yes, yes,
phone. Yeah. So
yes.
yeah, I was going to get into that. So because I feel like I had to say that first because everybody here, I'm sure almost everybody here would feel like the first thing that I would say is stigma, but no, that's not it. So for me, I feel like the first thing that I've had to deal with, because for me it's not so, I've reached a stage that I've reached this level that I can actively control how I feel. So if I feel it, I know how, I have enough self-awareness to know how I feel almost immediately when I feel it. I have almost enough self-awareness to understand my triggers. I already know my triggers. And the thing with these triggers is sometimes they change. You understand? Not like it's not like they change, but sometimes new triggers, unidentified triggers come up, and then you don't know
Yeah.
that that will trigger you. So I feel like the first thing I would say is just the I won't call it stigma, but then it's just how many people seem like it's I don't want to say I don't yeah, like an excuse. So sometimes I can't deal with because for me I feel like it's one thing about is I feel like this is so much about your capacity. So there sometimes I feel like your shields are up, so you feel like you have enough capacity to go out and do some stuff. But the other
Yeah.
times you don't have enough mental capacity and you are not sure that you can handle the pressure that is going outside. You
Yeah.
understand? Like you cannot handle the pressure that is going outside. And so at those times, honestly, I honestly would say, at those times, I honestly just pray. And sometimes I just go out and then I'm like, but I don't know who I'm going to meet outside, but I didn't have time. I'm not going to look at them. I just need to just do what I need to do and just get done. And I feel another thing that I'm trying to not do is I'm trying to not be faithy about it, even if I'm so in line with my faith and I'm such a faithy person. But then I'm like, I also try to do that because I know that I'm not controlling it with my own power. But then there are people that do not live in the reality of faith as much as me.
Yeah.
So I try to always be aware to not faithize it. I don't know if there's a word like that. Even if my own the way that I control it is so faith bound. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's one challenge is how I don't know if I've said one challenge.
Yeah, you have. So basically, what you're saying is that people's perception about how they, like, basically how people see you, especially maybe when you're having maybe a panic attack or something.
Yeah.
Spoken about the stigma part, sort of, and you've also spoken about a way that helps you. So aside being vocal about it, aside using your faith to manage it, which other way have you been able to address the anxiety?
So I feel like for me, that's why I wrote a book about this. So there are many ways that I have found that, and I always say that my definitions are not literally textbook fashion. They're not like
Yeah,
textbook definitions or methods.
that is
They're
why we're having this life.
have worked for me. And then I've had like my friends that are psychiatrists. Some of them, one of them is so fine and so talented. One of them is on this life. You get. I've had people that also know about this. Really. Are you shaking your head because I'm talking about you? Are you blushing? Is that it? So yeah. So also made sure that I showed the book to people that actually are that people that actually studied about this, people that actually went to school about this, to be sure that I'm not saying anything out of turn, literally. So basically, I feel like one thing that I have found, but also I feel like generalized anxiety disorder, for me, I feel like it has different forms. It has different
It's
forms
what?
for me. It has like different like I feel like it's broken down to like many subheads for me because for
So
me I feel
that's
like
the thing. Yeah, so that's the thing. Anxiety is never the same with two different people. But no mental illness is the same with, even if you've been diagnosed with the exact same thing. It's manifestation or symptoms, and the things you experience. It's not the same that I probably will be experiencing. So it's not like a one size fits all. You can't just there are different symptoms which make it look like it's a whole different category for everybody. Right. So I get that. Yeah. So okay. So you speaking of, I know you've mentioned that you've been in therapy, right? So how exactly did therapy help you in managing this?
When I found out what I had, I didn't did I start therapy immediately? I can't remember. I think I did. But then, I'm trying to, yeah, I'm remembering well now. I did not. I started reading about it. And then I read enough to, when people take Udemy therapy courses, that was basically what I did. And I didn't do it to self-therapize. I just did it to be able to know enough so that when someone asks questions, I would be able to,
Help
um,
them.
yeah, I can see.
Yes, please continue.
So that when someone asks a question, I would have enough knowledge to answer them and probably still talk to someone without invalidating how they feel. Like person in the comment just said. So I just wanted to just know enough to be able to answer questions. So therapy for me started after I had done that evolution. So it just seemed like when I was talking, it was more of an outpour instead of discovery, because I feel like there are different reasons why people do therapy. Sometimes it's to identify how you feel for some people. But for me, I already knew what I was talking about, but it just seemed like I was just talking to, it just seemed more like a conversation. You get? Yeah, it just seemed more like a conversation and an outpour, and me wanting a different perspective, sort of like. But then I know that with this, therapy is so important. It's so very important, because I remember that I've had about 3 therapists. I think I've seen about 3 therapists. No, 4 actually. 4. I have seen 4 therapists, and sometimes you feel like you are getting better, and then another trigger will just come up from anywhere. You're like, Father, what? Where is this? Like, you tell me like, what was all this? And then you have to go back again. And I think the thing with me is, when it comes like that, and I can handle it. Until one day, you just jam me in the middle of the road, and I'm like, I can't do this again. No, I'm running. So yeah, I think that helps. So I think therapy is something that you need to. It's more like a journey. So when you see that something is
it is a journey. So speaking of journeys and therapy, we need to also keep this idea in mind, especially people who have been much more open to going to therapy. Some people go into therapy with the notion that, oh, okay, right now, after my first session, I should know how to manage my anxiety. I should know my triggers. I should know, what to do and what not to do. But it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it could take 3 to 4 sessions before you are even able to unravel what your triggers are, because you as a person, you may not even be completely aware of your emotions, let alone of the things going on around you. Yeah, so therapy is not always straight line. You could go up, down, go all the way back to where you started, and it's a lot of work.
And it's also
but
painful.
the rest assured,
People feel like it's just
yes.
smooth sailing. Sometimes,
Actually, I think that's something the internet has done. I think that's something the internet has done. These days, it makes it look like therapy is something you go in and you come out all bubbly and you're happy and everything is good. Therapy, you could go into therapy and cry for hours.
Exactly.
You could, yes. So it's not something it's not something that you hit the nail on the head and you're done. Therapy is supposed to help you deal with your emotions. It's supposed to help you manage that problem, even identify the problem in the first place. And it's not just for mental disorders, even for your daily stress. It doesn't have to be something really huge before you go to therapy, right? Okay, so quickly before we end this session, I have the last question. Sorry. Okay. So I have the last question. Give an advice to anybody out there that is currently experiencing, an anxiety disorder, but they just don't know what it is they are going through. Or even if they do, just give somebody a word of advice out there.
I feel like it's going to be a speech. You should brace yourself.
Please, we need just a sentence, please. Just a sentence.
I feel like there's so much, and I feel like, okay, just give me 2 minutes.
So just one thing, just one sentence for somebody who is struggling right now.
One sentence, because I've tried to. All of them are equally important, actually.
Yeah, of course. We're not saying it's not important. We're just saying just one word, one sentence to somebody out there that is really struggling with anxiety.
Father as a donkey died. I'm sorry. It's fine to be you. I feel like one thing I've had to learn is how to embrace my difference, how to embrace how unique I am, how different I am from the next person. Although I'm doing a life without a wig, how more different can I be? So yeah, it's fine to be you. If you were made like this for a reason, and so it's just fine to be you. You are beautiful the way you are, with the anxiety, and God didn't make you a less person, or you're not any less person because of how you feel, and because of how crowded or how anxious or how anxiety filled you might be. You are still, God made you.
Thank you so much, Morenikeji. It was amazing speaking with you, and we appreciate everything you're doing in the mental health space. Please keep being a voice to mental health. Keep being vocal about um, keep being vocal about every single thing, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for
having me.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, bye.
Bye.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for coming on. We hope we're able to answer some questions that are probably in your mind. If you have any question concerning generalized anxiety disorder, please you can drop them when we post this as a post on our IGTV. Please leave the questions there, and we'll definitely answer them on our next video. Also, please, if you know anybody who has been diagnosed with a mental disorder and are willing to share their story, please have them reach out to us. We would appreciate speaking to you and help us to create a voice for mental health in Nigeria. Bye, you guys.